let's talk about Venom 3 for a second, get into a mini deep dive, and then we can kind of touch back on Knull and Spider-Man. Venom 3 is releasing this week for those of you that don't know. It's on track for a $70 million opening weekend, which, yeah, well, I don't know. We'll throw our predictions because we always got some. But let's talk about it for a second. What are your guys' rating predictions? What do you want from this movie? What are you expecting from the post-credit scenes? Again, at the time of this recording, if you're watching it after the live drops, we don't know anything for the post-credit scenes between the three of us. We talked about it beforehand to like just kind of get a lay of the land, and we are still in the dark. So believe it or not, this is a very genuine preview of the movie from our three perspectives. But Nate from Thwip Media, we are going to kick it to you first. What are you thinking here? What are your expectations? What are you going to rate this movie going into it?
I'm going to be honest. I don't plan on seeing this in the theater because I did not enjoy the second one. I thought it was horrible. And based off the reactions we've got so far, they're saying if you enjoyed the first two, you're going to have fun with this one. It's not good in any way, but you're going to have fun with it. But if you don't like the first two, it's going to be more or less the exact same. So know that when you're going into this one, you're going to be getting more or less the same kind of thing. So yeah, I'm going to wait for the spoilers to go online. I'll see what the post-credit scenes are. I'll maybe catch it once it gets on VOD and see what it's like at that point, but I'm not going to spend $50 at the movie theater to see it because it's just that expensive to go out now. And
for an hour and a half.
Yeah. I'm putting my money towards Gladiator too. So yeah. I expect to probably not enjoy this one if I do end up seeing it. What I want from it, I want it to
not suck,
to show ideally, but we know that's not the case. I want it to show that Sony literally has no capability in keeping the rights to the Spider-Man IP. Just hand it to Disney.
Please.
Yes.
Like, or me, hand me the keys.
if this doesn't do it, then Craven is the biggest deciding factor, I think, for that. And as far as post-credit scenes go, I think it's just Knull sitting in the chair, looking down with his hair, and that's it. Because that's all we're going to see of him, I think, in this movie.
That's fair.
From what we saw already is all we're going to see.
Yep.
It's pain.
5 seconds of him.
So much pain.
Yeah. Spider-Man.
I said this in the disc. Oh, sorry.
No. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, in the Discord, I think I joked that the post-credit scene is just going to be a 5-minute, like, moving slowly in on him, like at the end in the chair. It's just going to be 5 minutes. And when it gets to 4:55, it's going to be him, like, looking up, and then that's it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Roll
that
credit.
Was a hilarious convo we had. Oh, my God.
That was a long conversation.
Dude, I remember he came up with it's Nolan time as well.
Well, yeah, I'm
gonna know this myself.
Fine, I'll know it myself.
Dude, if we get a post-credit scene of Nolan, and it's just like I'll know it myself, or
I'll see if I can find
Thanos type thing. Oh, I won't be that mad about it, but I will be very mad about it. This movie's just freaking. I don't know. I'm seeing it on Friday at 9:15 in Dolby, so I'm honestly just seeing it just so I could say I saw it and can make content off of it.
There it is.
To be honest. Oh yeah, that's beautiful. Let's show this puppy off. Hold on. Gotta get that out of here. This is gonna be the post-credit scene, and we're cooking for what Knull's master plan is to take over every multiverse in existence. I love it.
I can't get down with this movie. I'll be honest with you. I want to see it simply because I don't necessarily want to hate on it, but I do want to be able to critique it because
That's exactly how I felt with Madam Web. That
oh
comment
no,
is
man.
exactly how I felt with Madam Web and Joker 2. I wanted to see it just because so I could shit on them.
I
And
had
I
higher
did. Go
hopes.
watch my Madam Web review. That video scoffed, but I loved it.
I just the hard part is it just very much feels like this movie is going to just spill over into the MCU. And for that reason, it makes me want to see it sooner rather than later. Madam Web, I didn't see in theaters. I waited until it hit Netflix, and I was like, "Oh my gosh! Like, did they really just like poorly dub their own movie or something?" Like that was insane. I don't think this is going to be that egregious, but like, I don't love Tom Hardy as Venom. I don't love Venom, the Sony Venomverse, whatever you want to call it. Like, it's just, I gave it a chance for 2, and 2 is sweet because of the kind of like tie-in. You're like, oh shoot, crossover with Spider-Man, here we go. And then that didn't happen, and then they confused us with trailer 1 of like, wow, they're in the MCU, and it's like, wait, no, they're back in their universe, and it's like, why would you do that? That's such a terrible tease.
Yeah.
And then enter this last month where everyone's like, no, and blah 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 blah, and we're just like, no, that's a terrible idea because it's such a huge character, and we don't want Sony to put any fingerprints on that whatsoever. I don't know. So what I want from this is absolutely no Knull at all, so that we don't
Oh,
set
wait.
that. What?
The director says Venom The Last Dance is just the beginning of Noel's on screen story. How could
Listen,
you want this to be the last
listen,
thing of
Kelly.
Noel?
We got fooled by Joker 2. All right. So I don't believe you, Kelly. I don't believe you at all. All right. Yeah, of course, Knull is too big for a one and done, but RDJ didn't come back to the MCU to share in the universe with Knull. So just
Venom's gonna shank Knull in the hall and then carve a smile into his face.
jeez. Or that no, that's how he gets a dragon on his chest. It's just carved.
Oh yeah, he carves
Yeah,
the spider symbol.
yeah. That's what happens. Here's my thought. Here's my one thought.
Yo,
I agree. Post.
Oh, he clicked the wrong one. Dude,
Oh, no way.
I will cry so
The
hard.
streets
No.
will be on fire.
We'll get in.
You would riot yourself in those streets with that.
Just one. They're just like, man, everyone's upset. And we see just Nate
Really?
walking down the street. It's just- it's an army, and it's like, nope, just Nate.
I will have pitchforks. I will have torches. I'll like
Yeah.
douse the entire street in
even
like
behind you.
gas
Yeah.
and then just
Yeah.
drop the match.
There you go. There you go. Yeah. Well, no, we'll get to some Doom. We'll get to some Doom. But just to quickly wrap up some Knull talk, there are rumors, right? And I want to ask you guys, buy or sell. Knull could potentially be the villain for Marvel Studios Spider-Man 4. I think that's still sitting out there and floating in the universe. But Nate, are you buying this rumor, or are you going to sell it?
I think I'm mostly leaning to sell because if Sony is saying he's a big deal and he definitely has a future, then I don't think they'll maybe bring him into this right away. They may tease him. I could definitely see them doing that. Maybe have a different symbiote villain, even though the options aren't that vast at this point because Carnage is dead. All the other symbiotes, like we had Riot. I think is it Toxin's going to be in The Last Dance. A couple others. I don't know. Like if it is a symbiote centered story, he could be in it, but I don't see him being like the main villain because again, it's Spider-Man 4. He's not going to be able to take him out on his own. So maybe they'll do like a bigger Sony-centered event down the line with Knull. But yeah, for Spider-Man 4, I'm going to say they'll tease him, but I don't think he'll be the main villain.
I'm gonna sell it as well. I It just feels too soon. I mean, I know they're like just starting with the filming for and production for Spider-Man 4, but it just feels too soon to kind of have Knull get thrown into here. And there's no way they planned it there's no way they planned it like that and just threw all their eggs in the basket. That's like, oh yeah, we're gonna put Knull in Venom 3 and then hope to win the battle with Marvel so that it pays off into like adding him into Spider-Man 4. So I could see like 5 or 6, if that. I don't know. I feel like I can't even see him in 5 or 6. I don't even know what's gonna happen in Spider-Man 5 or 6, or when those movies are gonna come out between like Doomsday, Secret Wars, and all that. So that's a whole nother gray area to cover. It just feels so weird to introduce Knull at this time. Given the current track record of MCU and Sony, it seems possible and likely, given the inclusion of Knull and Venom. Yeah. But it was stupid.
Yeah.
Listen, I really, really, really think that there is a world where in Spider-Man 4, if Tom does have the symbiote for an extended period of time, or if Andrew or Toby get a symbiote or whatever it might be, I very well could see them like having visions of Knull, referencing Knull, understanding Knull from the the symbiote perspective and
Hive
whatever
mind.
dialogue. Yeah, that hive mind
I could
piece.
see that.
I don't know how they're gonna do it. I'm assuming that they'll do some hive mind centric things. If that carries over, I'm not sure. But then again, I could also see there being a version of Tom Hardy's Venom from another universe coming into Spider-Man 4 as well. And again, kind of focusing on that hive mind, it's going to connect and it's going to be their simple explanation for it. Anyone can be in this movie if it's, symbiote heavy, just because of that shared mind. I do still like the thought that Knull could be wanting to track down every piece of the symbiote that's scattered across the multiverse in a way. I think it's a stretch, but if there has to be a reason, I don't think it's terrible. But again, he wouldn't be the main villain for me. That would be like a down the road. I still don't feel the centric character for Knull should be Spider-Man, period. It should be Eddie Brock, but um, I think if you do Knull, I think that there is again a world where they introduce. I think that they could easily reintroduce and reboot the Venomverse in Sony by including new versions of these characters, and then they pull the Knull storyline. Bring your Carnage back, get a proper Eddie back, get someone who's close, and that version of Venom knows who Spider-Man is, and then you easily could pull back, a Spider-Man into Sony. So yeah,
I also I don't know what Destin Daniel Cretton's likes and dislikes are, but like I don't know if he'd want to do Spider-Man 4 if it was going to be that kind of
we are
film.
on the same wavelength. I was legit just going to bring that up right now
Are you
too.
serious?
I swear to God, I've been waiting to bring up about how I don't think he'd sign on for a Knull film.
Yeah. Like I think he with Shang-Chi, he proved he can do the really grounded grittiness of the MCU, and I think that's what he wants to do. And obviously he was attached to do Kang Dynasty, so he has had some, I guess, ambition to do multiversal stories, but as far as Knull goes, I think personally he's going to be like, okay, pump the brakes. Like, sure, we can get to it, but I don't want to do that right now.
It's crazy stuff. Pains me. At least though, the one good thing about Knull that we haven't mentioned yet, Andy Serkis is playing him.
Yeah,
And
and he sounds great.
That cooks a lot. I can't lie.
Bro, this guy can't play his character for the next decade.
No, but
I don't think I think that's a recast in the waiting.
Really?
Yeah, I because again, where does the Knull storyline really come in? I mean, obviously we don't know, but probably not going to be in the next 3 to 4 years. 5 years from now, they're like, hey, you actually need to play more relevant of a role. Are you even available to do this? We don't know, but there's a chance that I think that's going to be like a Thanos type of thing where it's like, here's version A and here's our thought and vision. But when we really get down to it, I think that might be grounds for recasting.
He
Do I
sounds
want
great
Andy
in the
Serkis?
role, though.
I feel like that's
100%.
just so unnecessary. That's just another another reason why they unnecessary added. I can't say the word. Unnecessarily added him to Venom 3. There.
There's his inclusion does not make me want to see Venom 3 anymore. I'll put it that way. Love me some Andy Serkis, but then
He saw the fan reception to Venom 2 and he said, "Fine, I'll know it myself."
I don't even think Andy Serkis could save this movie, unfortunately.
they
No.
promised him the bag. They promised him the bag. Well, Spider-Man, I think you had one question. This will lead us into kind of our next piece. If Knull is in Venom 4, would he be in Doomsday and or Secret Wars?
I pray no. I hope he is not. This is Doom's time to shine. Make it just Doom. You don't need two giant multiversal villains. Just kick Knull to the curb for now. Let Doom have his time, because if it's called Doomsday, it has to be Doom. If it's Secret Wars, it has to be Doom. I don't see Knull playing any kind of role in those events. Just piss off. Let Doom finish, and then Knull can have his turn.
Yeah.
I like that.
I agree.
I have a proposition for you, Nate, though.
Okay.
So I was casually, after some rumors of Thanos coming back for these movies as well, because of RDJ being seen with, and Feige and Russo, so a bunch of people being seen with Brolin recently.
Peter Dinklage.
Was he there too?
He's
I don't
been
know.
with them recently because they had that Amazon movie together. So
Oh, yeah, you're right. But anyways, my point was, I saw with that panel and a couple commenters on Twitter had posted panels of Doom just absolutely, God Emperor Doom just absolutely bodying Thanos and disintegrating him.
ripping his spine out.
Yeah, exactly. I think it would be cool just if they bring Knull into Spider-Man 4, as much as we don't want it, just to make him be like, oh, like he's such a big threat, and then we see him in Secret Wars and Doom just does that to Knull. I think that would be pretty badass.
Dude,
that would be pretty badass.
Guy,
Stand up and cheer if that happens.
I would legitimately be angry. Like,
Really?
if he did that to Knull?
It's Doctor Doom.
No, I know. But they need to never ever cross paths ever.
Well, that's what I'm
Ever.
saying. Let Doom have his time, and
I'm
then
with
Knull can
you.
come into it.
I'm
later.
with you, but I hope like Thanos by this point has just been used by the MCU period just way too much. Like, I think people forget we've gotten the variant story at the end of Phase 3. Like, I know it's a time variant, but they did that. And then he comes back and he gets wiped again in What If, and they're just like, does Thanos feel like as big of a threat? I don't know.
What the heck is this? Doctor Doom and Knull are gonna freak off. Jeez.
Wait, what do you say? Oh, you're gonna have a freak out.
No way.
Someone on the internet will do
A
it.
twerk off.
Someone will do it. Yeah. But. Oh, yeah,
man.
That's your boy Andy Serkis doing it. So I mean, it just
And Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, and Robert Downey Jr. So just,
Galactus gets involved in the fucking multiverse, starts shaking.
bro, you look up and it's just like, the sun, the clouds, and just giant cheeks, slowly.
Seeing the movie front row in IMAX. Just
But he
looking
like,
up.
but it pops in just like in the Celestial and Eternals. Just like moves all the clouds, just like zoom. People in the park are like, "What's that?" Just look away. Oh my gosh!
No.
That's like some Rick
man.
and Morty stuff right there. It's straight out of Rick and Morty.